I don't know, but 500 feet or so, from the unit, and we're taking turns as guarding, 2 guys at a time, and 2 hours, and the rest of it we're sleeping down in the basement.
So you're at another house?
Yeah, so we went on to another place, another outpost, and we're out there, and I heard some noises, and I came up from the basement, and I thought, well, the guys that were guarding, the 2 guys that were guarding, they disappeared, and the Germans were out there, So I went back downstairs right away, and I told the other guys, the Germans are out there. So they come up there and they open up the cupboard to the basement, and this,
Now, it was like there was were
and
you in
they
a
hollered.
kitchen or something like that, and there was a trap door?
Yeah, that's it.
Something like that?
Yeah, something like that. And they holler, come and see out, So
What'd they say?
Come and see out. Yeah, come on out of there, So I knew just a little bit of German, because I had a German book. I was going through that all the time. And one of my friends was from Wisconsin, a German guy, and he corrected me on the German all the time. So I picked up French and German, because I spoke English and Spanish. From the two, it got easier. So then I came up, and I told him, I said, "Nick Sheezen, don't shoot. I'm coming out, So when I got out there, that guy, I guess he was the commander. He told one of the soldiers, this Cheezen, shoot him,
Oh,
so
he
took
did?
me, yeah. So he took me out, and the other guys are still down there, and so I came up because I could speak, and I could tell them, not to shoot. And then he took me outside, and the side of the building, he put the gun on my head, and I knelt down and I started praying, And he was a very young soldier, and he just had the gun in there and never shot me. He was hesitating so much that the other guys, they brought him out, and then he says, "Well, take him to the concentration camp,"
Wow, so he had the
So he didn't shoot me.
gun right
Yeah,
to your
he
head?
had him, yeah, and he was hesitating, he probably didn't have the nerve or whatever. So anyway, and because I was praying too.
Right.
Could have
Well,
been
that's
Christian
what.
boy.
Yeah, he brought you through it.
Yeah, and then so they marched us to the concentration camp, and that particular guy was the one that's taken us, with a rifle in the back, and I told him I had a gun, a small gun in my back pocket, and I told him, when I go to the bathroom, and I told him, like that, and then right there, so I squat down, and I got the gun, and then I thought, he didn't shoot me, why should I shoot him? And we had orders, I don't know whether you heard this, but if you get captured, don't try to be smart, just go ahead and, and become a POW, So
Right.
anyway,
Now, did they have you tied up or anything like that?
No, we just were marching us to in fact, we were like this, like this.
Were you?
To the yeah.
Okay. Now you still had your pistol back here.
Yeah, yeah. So I was in my pants. I was gonna get her, but I didn't have the nerve either to figure. He didn't shoot me, so why should I shoot him? So anyway, besides, I wouldn't know which way to run, you know. And if I run, I would run right back into the into the
Yeah, run right back into it.
into
So
the
how many
enemy.
were taking you back to the?
Yeah,
where
he
you
was
were
taking
going?
it back to a city. Well, first we went through a town, and the town had been bombed, you know, pretty bad. So the people were coming out and they were just beating on us, you know. They were trying to hit us, you know, and we had our hands, you know, like so.
So you're walking down the street?
Yeah, we were walking down the street, and with that one soldier, you know, in back of us with a rifle, and so when the people, I tell them, "Ich nix Flieger," you know, I'm not a flyer, I'm not a pilot, you know, so they wouldn't, because everything was bombed, you know, and
That was us? Did
yeah,
we do it? Did
yeah,
the United States?
we were bombed.
bombed
We
them.
bombed the heck out of it, you know. In fact, when later on, you know, I was afraid even when in a concentration camp that the planes were going to come over and bomb us too. You know?
Oh,
Yeah, so we were kind of afraid of that, you know.
right. Now,
Well,
was this
we-
fella that had the gun to your head, was it just him taking you?
Yeah,
you
taking
guys
us
back?
yes.
It was just him?
Yeah, just him. Yeah.
Really, just the one?
Yeah,
just
just
the
one
one
guy in
German.
back of us, yeah. And usually that's the way we used to do it too. We capture some guys and just one guy and take them
Really?
to the back, you know. And so we stopped at one place where it was with like a military camp, you know. And all the soldiers in there, and then they were in line, you know, eating, and then they told us, you know, to get in line too, and we got in line, and the guy still in back of it with a rifle, you know.
Now, was
So
this
we-
at the concentration camp yet, or is this?
No, it was just
No?
a camp on the way, you know, yeah. But we already been walking all day.
So this is Germans and they're set in their
Yeah,
perimeter and everything like
yeah,
that?
it was a complete camp, military camp. Yeah.
Well, now what did you see when you walked in? Were there tanks and half tracks, or what did you see for?
I didn't see nothing but just I just saw this building with all those Germans inside. You know, it was like a dining room, I guess. You know, so that's what I didn't see anything else.
Mhm.
And then after they fed us, and then we kept on going again, marching, and then we marched in probably another. I don't know whether it was another day and another night. You know.
Ooh, now what'd you do at nighttime? Because here's this one fella. So did he tie
Yeah.
you up at night, or?
I don't remember really whether even how far into the night it took us, but we finally ended up in this concentration camp in Stalag XIA, which was right near Magdeburg, I think, the city.
So now you're getting to the concentration camp?
Yeah,
Okay. Now,
Yes.
have you arrived there yet? Or are you just walking up to it? Do you
we're
see
just
it?
walking up to it,
Okay.
yes.
Frank, what I'd like to do is just stop for a moment, and we'll just take a little break, and then
Okay.
when we come back, we'll talk about what it was when you went into the concentration camp, and we'll just
All right,
we'll come
sure.
back to that. So
Sure,
we'll be right
Okay.
back.
sure.
All right, we're back with Frank right now, and it's been quite an experience up to this point. And now we're going to, we're heading toward a concentration camp. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right,
Now, if you can tell us
Yes. Yes.
what took place.
Well, when I got there, and the fellow that POWs there, they tried to make me to be friendly with me, so that I wouldn't feel bad, you know, and they told me stories about when they before the in earlier times they used to take them out and have them work, you know, and they would feed them. But now, since they weren't going out anymore because of the bombing, that that all we were getting there would be one can of soup, you know, and the can was it's a small can, wasn't that big.
That's what you ate per day?
Yeah, and that's what we had for per day. Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of times at night, you know, you had a spoon, you know, and you and you kind of put it in your mouth and think and start dreaming of some different foods or different, you know, ice cream or whatever, you know.
Did you?
Yeah. But the next day you go there and they had this great big pots of soup, just soup, you know. That's all you got. You fill up your can of soup and that was it for the day. Yeah.
Wow. Now, what camp were you in?
Camp Stalag 11A. Yeah.
11A.
And that was near the city of Magdeburg. Yes.
How many were in the camp when you got there?
I would say there was several thousand, but they were divided in different barracks, I guess, you know, you call them.
And what was the division? Why were they divided?
They were like where I was in that barracks. There was about maybe 60 or 50 or 60 people in there, and we had we slept in cots that were 3 high, were like bunk beds, you know. They were just wooden stuff, you know, and there's hardly any blankets or any pillows or anything, you know.
Now, you sleep, did they have a mattress or were they just wooden?
I don't think they had a mattress. They had some stuff on there, but it wasn't like carpet or something, you know, that wasn't really comfortable, you know.
Right. Now, what did they make you go to bed at a certain time? Did they have you out front? What was the routine for the day?
They usually would, but when I got there, I think that I just followed whatever the guys were doing, you know. And if they went out to the showers, they, you know, I just followed them, you know. But in the showers, they had the hot water. Sometimes it get too hot, and all of a sudden the pipes would start banging, you know, and it get real hot, and then it gets cold, and then, you know, and then hot again, and you couldn't really take a shower very, you know, comfortable like that.
Right. So you're able to take a shower every day?
No, just every now and then, every week or so.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, with the divisions, were there other the other POWs? Were there any other countries that were in there?
No, just mostly Americans, but then there's a few English fellows in there. Yeah. And one time they took some fellows out to work, and they came back with some potatoes, and they were eating the potatoes, and I asked them for the potato peels, you know. So they gave me the peels, you know.
Tasted good, didn't it?
It tastes good, but it gave me a lot of gas.
Oh, no.
So, and then there was a fellow that used to get packages from home, you know. So I forget what they call those packages, you know, that you get from home.
So somebody sent them a package from the U.S. and they to the
Probably
POW
a fellow that
camp?
been there for a long time, you know. He used to get this every now and then, and he would get cigarettes, you know. And when he starts smoking the cigarette, the rule there was that you holler, you know, you say butts, you know, and you get in line, and you say butts, and that would be eligible for a drag of a cigarette, you know.
No kidding.
So you get in line, and you say butts, and you get in line, you know, and you would get a drag, you know. So try to be almost the first one, you know, because sometimes, you know, you didn't get anything. So the guy that got the cigarette to begin with, he would only get one drag himself.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he would probably get hurt if he tried to smoke the whole thing by himself, you know,
Oh,
and not pass it around, you know. So he
Wow.
would pass it around, yeah.
now could you write letters or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. It was, and outside of that barracks, you know, there was a line of big yard, but there was a line of toilets, you know, and like outhouses, you know, and they were all put together, you know, and they had a door, but some of them didn't have a door. But there were guys that sit there almost all day long. They had dysentery, something like that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because they've been there for years. There were some of them from Dunkirk, you know, English guys from Dunkirk. Yeah, and some of them a long time. A lot of pilots, and the American pilots
Was there?
were shot down. You know. Yeah, so that's one of the things. But they make me feel comfortable there, and I felt kind of a lot happier because, you know, every day I've been fighting, and finally there, you know, with those guys there, you know, making me feel good, you know. So even though just one can of soup, you know, a day, you know, I come out of there. I waited 129 pounds, and when I come out of there, I think I was 99.
Were you?
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
Now, did you have any water? Could you drink water during the day?
Yeah, they had water. Yeah.
So the only nutrition they had was just that one cup of soup.
That's it.
Was that at lunchtime?
That's it. Yeah. Well, kind of a midday, you know, kind of a mid-afternoon, you know. So
Yeah. Now, how did Germans treat you? Did the Germans come inside
they
at all?
come in there, but they didn't say nothing. They never. While I was there, they never said nothing, you know.
Would they walk through
Yeah,
you?
They walked through, yeah.
And they're just
They were just, nothing was said, you know, and everybody just kept quiet, you know, so.
Now, did you ever have to line up in lines? Did you get inspected for anything?
Yes, they used to call us out, and let's see, what was it? I can't remember what they call us out and have us stand out on line for a period of time. I can't remember what the idea of that was, you know. So, but we go out there and stand out there in line, and they were kind of maybe was part of a training or something. I don't know what it was. So,
Right. Now, what did they have? So there were guard towers around?
yeah, they had the towers. They had the towers, yeah. And every now and then there would be a German coming over and just looking into the building, you know, and leaving it again. There were some outside by the yard out there, but they didn't get too close to where we were. You know.
Now, were they patrolling 24/7, going around your perimeter?
Yeah, they did.
Check it.
Yeah.
Now, was there any thought in there of trying to escape?
No, nobody would. No. I remember one time that I went close to a fence, and I saw a girl there, and she was calling me, and when I got close to the fence, she gave me some tobacco and some paper for making a cigarette.
Oh, really?
And I figured that she was one of those labor girls that they got from Poland and some of those other countries, you know. They used to they have a lot of those people, you know, and they get them to work and do all of the dirty work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So gave me that cigarette, and I made a cigarette, and I was kind of happy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but the guys, I don't even know how I smoked it. I had to because I had to share it or what, I can't remember that. But,
Well, I'm
but
sure
I
you did.
remember her coming close to there, you know.
Did
And
she
I
say
couldn't
anything?
understand- I couldn't understand what language she was talking, you know. But, and then finally, after about 5 weeks there, close to 6, I think, that one of the guards started disappearing, and then we understand that we heard later that one of the Germans got a Red Cross truck, a German Red Cross truck.
The Germans had a Red Cross
And
truck.
They had something like that, you know, for because there was a hospital right next to us, yeah. And from that hospital, he took one of those trucks in there with a white flag, and he drove to the American lines, and he told them, you know, that he gave himself up, and then told them that there was a concentration camp there, and then they came over, and that's when they came to the gates, and saw him at the gates and trying to open them, you know. And I imagine that they had a correspondent, war correspondent, because they always did, and climb up in the tower where the guards were, took a picture of us.
Now that is very interesting. Just I'd like to go back before we get that gate open and you were let out. You said, now there were other sections in the concentration camp there that had what, Russians and some other people that you walked up to?
Yeah, they had next to us. There was on one side it was that hospital, and the other side there were another compound with. And we were separated, you know, from there. They were Russians and Italians. Yeah. So I don't understand why the Italians, because they were part of the Germans first, you know. I guess then they turned against Germany, but that's what they had there, you know. And we were liberated. When we were liberated. They brought in trucks and they took us to France, and some of the fellows there, instead of getting on the trucks, they went out to, I guess maybe towards a hospital or maybe some homes there that they were looking for food, you know. And I understand that they got very ill, and some of them even probably died from eating stuff that they weren't supposed to be eating that soon. So we were taken to France, and then in France we flew to Normandy. On that flight, I heard that that Roosevelt was saying, you know, that the end of the war. You know. And then we landed on this camp in Normandy. We called Lucky Strike Camp, you know, and it was a great big camp, and part of it was separated so that on one side was all POWs, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they were, you know, separated from the rest of the GIs. And we were to be there for, I think, 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, we were restricted. We couldn't go out. You know, we couldn't go out, and we had to have like a diet food, I imagine. I didn't know why they were doing all of this, but now I understand that they just couldn't start feeding us, you know, anything that we wanted, you know. So
They're on a bland diet.
a bland diet, and then they would give you, they would spray you all the time, you know. And they spray you, and even they'd pull your pants down and spray you all over, you know. And then different things like that, you know. And then they would question you. They'd take you in and they question you about your time in concentration camp. So all of this thing was happening, and then it was 2 weeks of this. You know. At the end, during that time, another fellow and I, we went underneath within the couple of days that we've been there, we went underneath the fence, and we went into the other side, there was a like a soldiers club, you know, and a servicemen's club, yeah. And we went in there, and there were cigarette butts on the ashtrays, you know, and we went rushing and we started grabbing those, and me and this other guy, and then they told us, you don't have to do that. We'll give you cigarettes. So they gave us cigarettes.
No, okay.
And then they start giving us, you know, stuff, you know, what they had in there, some goodies, you know, and stuff, you know. And then we went back and snuck in, back into the other place, you know.
Right. Well,
we weren't supposed to be getting out of there.
You did good, didn't you?
But we did.
Wow. Oh, that's something. You know,
After
I like to.
the 2 weeks, they gave us a pass to go to London, and with everything paid for, you know, and then we could go to the Red Cross, and we were eligible to get a loan for $500.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from the Red Cross. Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, I like to stop just for a moment because this is a time in history